This is Better Than News, and I'm Joe D'Argenio. We looked into the Donald Trump arrest and what it was a distraction from, and we found the COVID-19 Origins Act. Somehow I overlooked a very interesting House Joint Resolution that struck down Washington, D.C.'s decision to change their criminal code and update it. It's over 120 years old. They spent 16 years examining this criminal code and how to make it better, and voted on it and passed it independent of other bodies because they are not an actual component to the United States of America. So this House Joint Resolution took both houses of Congress and said, we're not going to let you make the changes to the criminal code. Now, I've also looked and finding the revisions that were voted on and passed, and those don't seem to be readily available. If you happen to know where I can find that, please give me a comment and let me know where I can find that, because I'm wondering why they would interfere with the change in criminal code in a jurisdiction that they don't preside over. And I'm not sure how they have the authority to do that, but apparently they did it. So let's take a look.
This is a great example of how they just slip things right in there and they get by you even if you're trying to pay attention. This was back on March 20th, 2023, when I was looking at the COVID-19 Origin Act of 2023, trying to determine what they were distracting us from. And somehow HJ Res 26, House Joint Resolution 26, eluded my notice, and it is an effort to nullify a revised criminal code of the District of Columbia, which apparently was very outdated, originally created in 1901, 120 years old. So it's very interesting that they would be revising the Criminal Code Act, especially in the capital of our nation, which oddly enough is not actually a part of our nation, which is a subject for another video. But this revised Criminal Code Act was the culmination of a 16-year effort. And so I tried to find this. And by searching, putting in quotes, Revised Criminal Code Act of 2022, and even asking for it in a PDF version, which kind of guides you towards getting a document. And I have found zero documentation of this Revised Criminal Code Act, because I wanted to look and see why our Congress would prohibit that, prohibit the enactment of the new criminal code. That is very interesting. And in the process of looking for this, I did find a letter from the ACLU dated March 7th, 2023, saying, please vote no. We are, the ACLU strongly urges you to oppose congressional efforts to undermine democracy in our nation's capital by voting no on House Joint Resolution 26, which would deny self-governance to Washington, D.C. And signed by the Federal Policy Director and the Executive Director of the ACLU, which there may be more to that if we looked into it closely. But we can't find any evidence of exactly what was entailed in that revised criminal code to understand why it would be so critical that that it be denied. And so I would love to find that act so that I could look at it more closely. I don't know, if you can find it, I'd love to see it. I'm looking at having to contact somebody and see if it's available somewhere. I understand that if it's being denied, it may not be easily available publicly just because it is not actually law, or shall we say code. But it's very interesting that that was denied, and now it's very difficult to find any trace of it.
So I found that very interesting that they would take it upon themselves to deny the District of Columbia, which is not a state and not technically part of the United States. How can they do that? How do they have the authority to do that? Why would they do that? What was in that new criminal code that they didn't like? I can't seem to find any commentary on that, which makes me all the more suspicious. So let's keep looking. Again, if you have any information on this, I'll be happy to hear about it in the comments. So please subscribe, give me a like, and always looking forward to your comments. Thank you and have a great day.